So you just made it past the sub 1 minute barrier on the Rubik's Cube. I bet you're feeling pretty good, but every time you solve, you just can't get faster. Your times are inconsistent and all over the place, and everything you try is just not working. I was in the exact same spot. Every single time I tried to solve, it was inconsistent and slow until I finally found these secrets. And I'm going to tell them to you today. Let's get into it. The first thing I'm going to talk about is fix your F2L. This is where most of your time is going. Using the CFOP method, obviously no other methods use F2L, but it's definitely the longest step because you solve both of these layers in one step, which is F2L. When I was sub 1 minute, I did my F2Ls very inefficiently, and I used beginner F2L. And beginner F2L used a lot of unnecessary steps, and yes, it's simpler to learn, but it's ultimately not going to make you that much faster than beginner's method. What actually helped me improve was learning more efficient pair solutions, solving pairs from different angles instead of rotating a ton, and most importantly, slowing down to stay consistent because I just needed to practice them a ton so it would get in my muscle memory. Because I do not encourage you to learn a ton of algorithms. You need to use your memorization power for other things. And now I'm going to do a quick example of what I would do for my F2L. So I'm going to finish this cross. And now, not that great of an F2L. I'm gonna first do these two. And in beginners, you would actually have to like twist this one facing another way. It's complicated. It's a lot of extra steps, but using advanced, you just solve it immediately and then insert it into the back. And then I would do these two. It's right in front of me. I would solve it using like beginner's F2L because it's this beginner's F2L case. Then this one, you would also have to do a lot of steps for when it's facing up, but actually you can just do 3 sexy moves and it solves it into there. And then this one's actually like beginner's method piece. This is probably one of the worst cases you can get. So ultimately F2L is where most of your time is going, and it allows you to be creative. The second thing I'm going to talk about is learn full PLL. If you don't already know all the PLO cases, this is one of the easiest ways to instantly get faster. Because think about it, every time you don't know a PLO, you're either pausing or doing multiple algorithms. This adds up a lot over a full solve. Once I learned full PLO, my times dropped almost immediately. Now, yes, this can be very intimidating for beginner solvers because there's 21 of them, but out of all the different algorithm sets, this is relatively small, and you will get better at memorization once you start memorizing more algorithms, and it's just ultimately going to make you faster, especially the pausing part. For example, this is a T-perm. Usually you'd have to do 2 algorithms to solve this, but especially for a T-perm, it's one of the fastest PL algorithms there are. I can solve it in like 1.5 seconds. So obviously that is way faster. You should definitely try to learn them yourself. The third thing I'm going to talk about is practice cross. A lot of people don't think this matters much, but it really does. Because cross is so easy to practice and you can do it probably hundreds of times in a week, you should do it a lot. It can always be solved in 8 moves or less, so it's pretty short, very efficient, and you can plan it all out during inspection. Especially if you need to give yourself more time to do other things like F2L. Cross is very important to just get it done as fast as you can. It'll give you basically like a good head start. So I'm going to do this cross as fast as I can. Hopefully I can do it well on camera. Okay, 3.2 seconds. So if we're trying to get sub 30, 3.2 is a tenth of your solve. That is really small. So you can give yourself a lot of extra time for other things like F2L. The fourth thing I'm going to talk about is look ahead. Now, this is a big one, especially for fast cubers. The reason I didn't put it as high up in the video is because for sub 30 cubers, this is slightly less important. It's still important, but slightly less. You don't need to have perfect look ahead. Look ahead basically means you're always tracking your next pair while you're solving the current one. When I was slow, I used to solve a pair by solving it, pausing, looking, solving the next pair, pausing again. It would be really bad. The best thing to practice look ahead is turn slower and track your pairs and try to avoid all pauses. Even if it causes you to turn the cube at an extremely slow rate like this. But as long as you're able to track the pairs, that's good practice, because over time you're going to get better at turning faster and look ahead will be easy for you. Boom. I don't know how much pauses that was, but like that felt pretty good. Last and final thing is don't give up. Sub 1 to sub 30 isn't going to be that hard. It's just going to take maybe a little bit longer than you expect. That's completely fine. Just keep staying consistent. If you follow these things, you will get better. Full PLL, F2L, look ahead, and cross. You will get past the sub 30 barrier. I know it because I did. Unless you aren't consistent. I'm just kidding. But if this did help, please consider subscribing. It makes me feel more motivated. I want to make more videos. YouTube is fun. Filming is fun. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.